Hi, I'm Eric D'Amato,
And I'm Classic Gamer.
and welcome back to Let's Play Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars.
Yep.
Slight change of plans. We're not going to the Middle East yet. We'll spare the
No,
Middle East, the horror of George Stobart for a bit, and go to Spain first.
we want to go to Crew Museum first and then get the location from Andre.
Yep. You know, there's a very similar looking game that's extremely bad.
What?
Spider-Man: The Sinister Six. The PC
Pardon
one.
me? Oui, monsieur? Oh, it's you. Well, what do you want now? You're not going to try to hide in that closet again, are you? I hear your tripod was stolen. Nothing travels faster than bad news. It is true. It happened last night. I always said that alarm was no good.
No good. You had a go at us every time we set the thing off.
What does this ball mean to you? Nothing, monsieur. Thanks for your help.
So if you when you get the tripod after it's stolen by Nico,
The glass case was intact, but the tripod had been replaced by a sign reading, Exhibit temporarily removed.
if you come here with the tripod and talk to Andre and the guard, the guard will say, you're showing the tripod. He goes, "Do you recognise this tripod?" It's surprisingly familiar. And George goes, "I suppose it is. Well, this is obviously a poor copy." That's what he thinks it is. A poor copy of their tripod.
Well, fair enough.
Hi, Andre. Hello, Georgie.
Stop.
What's with the long face? Haven't you heard? The tripod was stolen.
Oh, no.
No kidding.
Who would do it?
I just
Thing
don't
like
get
that?
it. So many other treasures, and the thieves choose the tripod. A modern-day alchemist, perhaps? Who knows? There's no shortage of crazies in Paris. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment. Yeah, she told me you came by. Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy. I hope you're referring to the manuscript. Oui, of course.
Oh, you are, Andre.
What does this ball mean to you? It's a juggling ball. I love juggling. I should have guessed.
What's that supposed to mean, George?
What did you make of the manuscript? It dates from the time of the Crusades. We guessed that from the Templar seal. It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
That's not... That's not really all comics are, but okay.
What story does the manuscript tell? I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market. Tourists? Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho. Have you
That's a
deciphered
wrestling
any of the
move by a
images on the
wrestler.
manuscript? There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras. Who's he? A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish. How can you tell that? The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
What was that about wrestlers?
So when he said the walls of Jericho,
Yes.
a wrestler called Jericho, or Chris Jericho, has a submission move called the Walls of Jericho.
Yes, that's not what he was referring to.
I know, but it's the same title of his wrestling move.
Because Joshua was the one who he and his boys blew on their trumpets, and that brought down the walls of Jericho. It's a biblical reference.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. It's not wrestling related.
no, I know that bit's not. But
Jericho
it's
is also an absolutely dreadful first-person shooter based on work by Clive Barker.
I think you played that one.
I have. It's very, very bad. You see,
I believe you.
there are two first-person shooters written by Clive Barker. One is called Immortal. No, Undying, which has you play as one interesting character with a bunch of abilities, and it's with a story that makes sense. The second one, you play as 6 poorly developed characters, and the story makes no sense. Give me one good character over a handful of meh characters any day.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He is a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they are not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They are probably long dead.
That has a lot to say about this manuscript.
Well, he seems to know more about it than us and Nico do. So.
Well, Nico's a journalist and George is a
Idiot.
Well, I have other words, but I don't say them in recordings with you.
Do you think the manuscript could be the map to the Templar treasure?
Frankly, no. That's too far-fetched.
You're too far-fetched.
The manuscript is interesting enough and a rare find, but that's all.
Wouldn't it be terrific if it was a map, though? The treasure of the Knights Templar.
A romantic notion, Georgie, but extremely improbable.
I was half expecting them to do the usual cliched
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
French character speaking English thing, where instead of improbable, because it's a very similar word, improbable.
Huh?
I don't think there's a single non-fake accent in this game.
Speaking of you said like the Jericho game is a bad game.
Yes.
How many games that are bad do you think that you've played? Like, I've played my fair share of bad games. But what would you say, like, if you had to pick like 3 bad games, what would you choose?
Like the worst?
Yeah.
Dracula 3.
I can name one that you haven't thought of yet that you have to pick. Da Vinci Code. You can't leave that shit out.
True.
That's one of mine as well. Like, I actually was saying this game's pretty good until I got to like.
And there's the thing is, there's a lot that are really bad in the moment when you're playing them, but don't really have the staying power to be like worst ever.
Yeah.
This is a tough question.
It is a tough question. Well, have a think about your last one, and then let me know in a bit. Have a think about it. Because I can't really think of any, to be honest with you. I'm struggling myself. So we want to go to the Villa de Vasconcelos.
Villa de Vasconcelos.
That's the one.
This is nice.
It is
I wonder
nice.
how George is gonna fuck it up.
So there is quite some funny stuff that you can do, especially with Lopez in Who's Wandering the Garden. That's Who's Wandering the Garden. His name's Lopez. If you look carefully, you can see a rainbow in the
I see.
sprinkler. You can try going inside the house first if you want.
There was a crotchety old guy watering the lawn.
How'd you know he's crotchety?
If this garden was all his own work, he was more capable than he looked.
You haven't talked to him yet, mate.
Hi, is this the De Vasconcelos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble. My name's George Stobart. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the De Vasconcelos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
I don't think the the Let's Plays actually come out yet, but Call of Juarez the Cartel.
Ah,
An entry in a cowboy series that isn't a cowboy game. It's set in modern day, and you have two AI companions who do nothing but insult your aim while never being able to hit a single target themselves. Terrible driving, where if you even go off slightly off a predetermined path, they don't tell you. It's immediate game over. And your AI companions will actively try to stop you from finding the one thing you absolutely need to level yourself up and get better guns.
There's a funny story about how I got this ball.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't suppose this red nose means anything to you, does it?
Ah! El Flojo!
El who?
El Flojo! He is a clown on state television.
Oh. Is he any good?
He is as funny as scabies. Without the laughs.
Pardon?
I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Okay.
Completely gone out of my head.
Do you recognize this man?
No,
This guy's helpful.
This lab pass mean anything to you?
nothing.
Do you know what this is?
See, I have a similar tool for opening culverts on the estate.
Do you
that
recognize
was
this
it.
matchbook?
That's out
I
of this.
don't smoke.
So, George, you've actually met someone for the first time in the game who isn't subject to your bullshit.
No, he has no time for our nonsense.
Have you got
Yeah.
any use for a fistful of plaster?
No.
What do you make of this?
So that's it. You're a salesman.
If I was hawking medical supplies, I can think of better places to hawk 'em.
George, does your insults hold no bounds?
Would you like to shake hands?
I do not think so, senor.
Look at this tissue.
It's a tissue with some greasy muck on it.
Yes, that's right. What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why?
And
Maybe
you,
he just
George.
doesn't like you because you're you, George.
Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcelos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
Yeah, that's it. The Countess has won the lottery, and I'm here to give her the check.
Marvelous. May I see it?
No. No, I have to deliver it to her in person.
The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
Oh, for crying out loud, why'd you lead me on then?
Why'd you lie?
To amuse myself. To make you look a fool. To make you go away.
Fair.
Okay. Well, I'll see you around.
Adios.
And now
All
try
right,
going
I'll see you
into the-
around. No, I specifically don't want to do that, senor. Get the hell off the property.
Try going into the house this time.
I will beat you with my hose.
Hey, you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry.
So there are a few things you can have a look at before we go actually do the next bit for the house. But if you look at the just next to the, or you can look over there as well. So what do you think
The
you've
hose
got?
ran from some sort of utility room all the way to the lawn.
You want me to pull
What do
the
you think
hose
you've
out?
got in your inventory that you can use on the Got it first time.
You know what a tool George could make good use of in this game is?
What?
Psychic paper. Oh, can you imagine if George was a Time Lord?
Oh God, don't.
It's like the Master, but more of an irritation than a threat.
My hose has stopped.
Yeah?
See, my hose never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. It's always sad when an old tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it? See, you.
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
Very easily, senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my hose has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you.
You said there's stuff to look at out here?
Yeah, so the next to the entrance, you see where the building of the house is? Yeah, you can have a look at that.
The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section.
And then you had an arrow, hand going to the. It was sort of over there. That's it.
It was then I realized I'd left home without my pocket siege engine. The main part of the house was old.
Now we go in the house?
We can go in the house, but
What?
there's a few things you can do that actually are quite funny. You can.
Well, I already
So
clicked
get-
on the house, so it's too late.
No. I mean, like you can mess about with Lopez. So don't click on that door down at the back there.
I
yet.
love suits of armor. Who doesn't?
But
Must have been
click on
traveling pretty fast when he hit the wall.
George... you are stupid.
I didn't want an example of the taxidermist's art.
that. Can you click on the bear head as well,
The hyena?
or the
I
or
didn't
hyena?
want an
Yeah.
example. Must have been.
You can't, no.
Try going upstairs.
There was a big aspidistra sitting on a table in the hall.
The fuck do you know of that?
The armor was about my size. I had a mental vision of putting it on and clanking off to see the Countess, with the gardener hanging hopelessly on the outside trying to stop me. Apart from being stupid and unworkable, it was a great plan.
Do you have even the slightest idea of how to put on a suit of armor, George?
And if you did,
There was a big
do you not
aspidistra
think
sitting.
he'd hear you?
I didn't want a pot plant.
Try going upstairs.
I could see the gardener trying to figure out what was wrong with the hose. Time for cat-footed stealthiness.
Hey, you on the stairs.
Oops. I know this doesn't look good, but
Look, senor, all I want is a quiet life. A life without mad, house-breaking foreigners in it. Understand?
Look, I just wanted to, use the bathroom.
Leave now, please.
Okay, I'm going.
You can have a do it twice more funny replies if you want to. I've forgotten how short this bit actually is in Spain.
Yeah, it's just the house, right?
Yeah, you have to get upstairs to see the Countess, and once you do, you pretty much then go to the last part, and then you do that puzzle I said about earlier, and then that's it.
There was no way that I wanted to draw attention to myself.
But I always do this when I play because I find it funny.
Hey, you on the stairs.
Oops. I know this doesn't look good, but
This is the second time I've caught you skulking around in here. If I find you in here once more, I'd call the police.
there's no reason to drag the police into this.
I do not want to hear your excuses. Leave.
Okay, don't get excited.
You are incapable of exciting me, senor. The specific apron makes him look like he works at Starbucks.
I never thought about that, to be honest with you.
I don't think
So the
about
way you,
Starbucks that often, though.
so the way you get round him is you go down to that
Is there
door
a
that's at the
third?
back.
Is there a third?
There is, but the way you get past him
Yeah,
is
go through there.
that door down there. Don't go down there yet, but you click on that one. That's where the dogs are, and then you hide behind the armor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's
Hey,
pretty
Oops.
ridiculous.
I know this stuff.
right. This is the last time. I'm calling the police.
Don't do that. I only wanted to talk to the Countess.
Believe me, she does not want to talk to you.
You don't know that. Why don't you ask her?
She has no time for the living, only for the ghosts of the past.
Please. You have no idea how important this is.
You're right. I don't. Nor do I care. Out.
Okay already, I'm going.
I think that's the last one. But how you get past him is a bit ridiculous now I think about it.
Well, this game's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
As
You're
I
right.
think I've said, I would love if there's a Saturday morning cartoon based on this.
I'm surprised there hasn't been, to be honest. So when you click on it, be quick because you don't have. Right, if you don't be quick, then he'll catch you.
I hid behind the armor and waited for developments.
Hey, you. I know you are there, American. All right, you dogs. I'm coming.
And then we lock the door behind him?
No,
Really?
now you can go upstairs.
Oh.
But that now I see that it's actually the most ridiculous way of solving a puzzle that you can do. Like the fact he knew he was there, but he didn't do anything about it.
That looks familiar on the wall.
Madre Dios, who are you?
My name's George Stobart. I'm sorry to burst in like this.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you'd just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobart.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway, the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they've planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let me have a look around. If I find nothing,
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well.
Finally.
Please, sit down.
thank you.
You do recognize that that display on the wall to the right, don't you? Where have you seen that
Well,
before?
above the fireplace.
No, just to the right of it.
Oh yeah, no, I've not actually noticed that before. Not
With the
properly.
lances and the shield, a very that's an interesting device though, because it's red like the Templar cross, but it's shaped like the Hospitaller cross.
Well, the Hospitallers were after the Templars were.
It's just generally the Hospitaller cross is either black on white or white on black, as opposed to red.
Yeah, but the Hospitallers I think were some. I think not all the Templars were like killed. I think some did survive, like the
The Hospitallers were they were just another order of knights at the same time. They were contemporaries.
I think there was not the Knights Templar, and then there was the a different name after them. There was another group that had a very similar name, and that they were originally they were Templars.
Anyway, we have to talk to this woman.
This fine
Interesting
lady,
Spanish
yes.
hiccup she had. She said Madre Dios, when generally it's Madre de Dios. Because the literal translation, for those very few of you who don't know, is Mother of God, Madre de Dios. Madre Dios is just Mother God.
Maybe
I
it's
got
just
this ball off a juggler in Paris. I couldn't juggle, see? And he thought he was so superior. But, and this is the funny part, I put a red nose on and made out that I was trying to be incompetent. It brought the house down. He was so angry because I'd upstaged... Yeah, well, you had to be there.
I fear that you are probably right, Senor Stobart.
She's already regretting her decision to listen to him talk.
So I've just looked up the difference between the Knights Templar and the
Hospitallers.
That's the one. Whereas the Templars were formed as an express purpose of military defence, whose initial members consisted mainly of brothers in arms, the Hospitallers ran Hospital St John and only took up arms as an ancillary. I think that
Auxiliary.
says.
Is there
Yeah,
an X or a... How do you spell it?
It's an N. It's ANCILLARY.
Ancillary. It
Yeah.
means to the side.
Necessity to defend those in their care.
I always quite liked the Hospitallers.
I'm sure there was another knight series of knights as well. It's a shame there's not actually games that involve those other knightly orders. You know, like
There are.
Are there?
Knights of the Temple, Cursed Crusade, First Templar.
Oh, they're not the Knights Templar then. They're different. They're the other ones, are they?
Well, it's different. You deal with them. First Templar is about the Templars, obviously, but the other ones deal with other orders, or bring in the other orders.
Does this
Oh,
red
cool.
nose mean anything to you?
No, dear. El Flojo.
That would be the TV clown, yeah?
Clown in all important aspects. Apart from the one about being funny.
Do you recognize this man?
No, I have never seen him before in my life. Who is he?
I've got a couple of names for him, but they're probably false. He's the killer.
No, his face is utterly unfamiliar.
Good. At least he hasn't been here. Yet.
Would you like to play chess, madam? I think we could beat her easily.
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing at all.
Do you know what this is?
No, it looks very practical, though.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Club Alamut. Not an establishment that I am familiar with.
Are you familiar with
young man.
anything outside this room, ma'am?
Probably not.
Do you know what this is?
Desiccated gypsum.
No, it's plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is desiccated gypsum, isn't it? I could tell that I wasn't impressing her. Would you like to shake hands?
A formal bow will suffice.
Woman after my own heart.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
Where is this line of questioning going?
Nowhere helpful.
I actually I quite like bowing as opposed to handshakes.
Yeah,
If done
I'm
properly, like proper courtly fashion.
in England. Like there was, I'm quite old. People say to me that I'm quite old-fashioned in this kind of thing. I don't know where I got it from, but
So
if
you
I have
you swan about in a rough and tights?
no.
Not that old fashioned, okay. Less old fashioned.
Very funny. But if someone shakes my hand and makes me a promise, I take that man as their handshake as their word of bond. So I don't have to write something down and have to sign for it, even though something in writing always does help. But back in like the 60s and the 50s and that kind of thing, a handshake was, and older people, like, you know, I've met older people, like, you know, when like someone like your granddad or something like that, so they might say, "Oh, I would take a handshake as a word of bond." So, and when they break that bond, I get quite triggered by that. It actually quite annoys me because I take that very seriously, and I don't know where I got that from. I don't know. It may be put down in the family. Maybe it's just I've got that side of thinking, but I've got it from somewhere. So when I've had someone break their promise to me and they've gone, look, if you shake my hand, you're making me a promise. If you break that promise, there's going to be problems.
I have a kind of similar, slightly similar, but I don't know if you have the same thing. Great way to start things off badly with me if we've never met before is to call me by my first name unprompted. That's a great way to get on my bad side immediately. It's like if you know me, I'm Merrick. If you don't know me, I'm Mr. D'Amato. That's that's the thing. Like kids, fine, whatever. You're kids. That you do what you do. Telemarketers, I'd rather you not call me at all, so it doesn't matter.
Well, it's I'm a similar kind of thing, I think. But when I talk to like someone over the phone, if I call like a company and complain, and well, if I'm complaining, then it's my second name,
Yes.
full name. If I'm not complaining, I always say, look, my name's whatever. Please call me that. I don't like being called Mr. Whoever because it's so formal and so, it just doesn't. It doesn't. If it's the wrong kind of situation, it doesn't make me feel good. Whereas when I'm complaining and I say to someone, my name's not that, you can call me this. And I've often rung up places before, especially when it comes to, you know, friends and that kind of thing. And I spoke on behalf of someone once, and I was like, "Do you know that they have this, this, and this, meaning, you know, additional needs or whatever?" And they were like, "Well, no, we didn't know." I go, "No, you didn't ask, did you? You just assumed." And they were quite apologetic. And then I think they ended up either giving the person a refund, or they were very apologetic to me because I was quite voice of reason. And I get that from my mum, I think, because my mum, like, she says, don't be, if you go like somewhere and they're not listening to you, don't get nasty or like rude. Just be very firm and to your point and hold your ground, and you'll get around something.
I know your family is involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobart. The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago, and as for De Vasconcelos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Okay, whatever happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval.
That
Let me see.
on the wall,
Well,
right?
the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess set.
That chess set is over 600 years old? It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children.
George,
Sorry.
Its value is less
Fucking
than you
idiot,
might
George.
think. The set is not complete.
Ooh.
One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All in good time, Senor Stobart.
I don't think in this bit really that George is being deliberately
No,
like an arse.
he's not trying to be rude. It's just
He's
just is rude.
I think this might be a silly thing. It might be a not even remotely true at all, but maybe the way he sometimes explains stuff is just the fact that he's a lawyer and they can get quite uptight and quite direct about a lot of things. You know what I mean?
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a...
Hello.
You! Why, I'll feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
But, my lady...
Wait,
Never without my permission.
he's fed
Senor
people to the
Stobart,
dogs before?
if I find that you're wasting my
With her
time,
permission.
you will be fed to the dogs. Now, I want to show you something interesting. Follow me.
Ooh,
So you
this
can
is-
either go out of this building here and
Lopez,
examine that
unlock
thing
the
on the
door,
roof
por
and the
favor.
sea, or you can do it later when we come back to this location later.
This is the
doesn't
only
change when you
remaining
examine it.
structure on the
I
estate
mean, we're already
contemporary
here, right?
with the Templars.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
What is it, a summer
I mean,
house?
it would be
A
rude to just leave him
mausoleum,
standing here.
Senor Stobart.
Summer house.
Oh,
Come with me.
I can't think of anything ruder than like,
Hey,
I will show you
senor.
this thing, and like, cool, and then we
I
fly
do not
all the
know
way
what you
back to
have told my
France.
lady to be shown these favors. But I do not trust you.
you've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
All right.
But if you try going back to the house without the Countess, he's like, I don't know how he won't let you in. It's quite amusing, but probably not worth showing off completely.
Play it yourself if you want
Wow,
to see people.
this is old.
It was constructed in the 13th century as the final resting place for the De Vasconcelos Templars.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
I wasn't about to start heaving at sarcophagus lids with the Countess standing there. The mausoleum contained 5 tombs for 5 of the Knights Templar, man-size in marble.
Don't need to say that out loud, George.
Did
The
you even
mausoleum
shrug when you
contained
tried
5
to?
tombs for 5 of the man-size in marble.
Well, I right-clicked on her to inspect.
Oh, it didn't work.
I wasn't about to start heaving.
It's the same thing if you examine all of
The
them,
mausoleum
Yeah.
for man-size.
which is weird because they all look different in a sense.
Hanging from the ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked
Like-
really old and had never been lit.
You show me like tombs like this, I'm expecting inscriptions. And like a major part of the puzzle is getting paper and charcoal and taking rubbings of the inscriptions to solve something. But
Oh well,
I
it's funny that
couldn't
you say
reach up there.
inscriptions because that will come up later on.
of course,
No, I'm actually impressed when you say
On
that.
removing
How
the Bible, I
quite
found a
how
pattern
right-
on the
right
lectern
you are.
top. Hey, it's a checkerboard.
chessboard,
The
uncultured.
lectern top had a pattern of glass squares on it.
you can
Close
examine
up,
the thing
I could
above
see that the pattern was
checkerboard.
made up of glass
Chessboard.
squares over a checkerboard pattern. Some of the squares had little jagged holes in the middle.
What did you say?
There's something above the. That's it.
A big statuette of the Virgin Mary kept
That's
an eye
not a
on the
big
place.
statue. Come on.
It was too delicate to move.
Yes, don't
It was
pick
a
up things
rod
that isn't
with
yours.
a cone and a hook on the end. I guessed it was for snuffing out the big candle in the chandelier. Now what? There was nothing to snuff. Feeling like an idiot, I put it down again. Close up, over a checker. Some of the squares May I ask you something?
You may ask.
What's the story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard. Oh, the pattern on the lectern. Purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
Oh, it has been like that since I was a girl.
Ask the
think I've-
other things first.
I will, but I think I've solved this. There are odd-shaped holes in several of the tiles. The bottoms of the chess pieces are regularly shaped. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Is the Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobart.
That's our main
The
ability.
Templars were dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
That's a big candle. Where would you buy a thing like that from?
You could not. It is an antique, unique to my knowledge.
Just how old is it?
It dates from the Middle Ages, when the Moors controlled Spain. The candle was to be lit as a signal to the estate workers if the Moors attacked.
Who exactly are these people?
My ancestors. These 5 men were all members of the Templars.
5 ancestors in the order. You must be very proud.
Not 5, 6.
Where's the 6th knight?
He was lost to us.
You lost an ancestor?
It is a family matter. It can have no relevance.
Well, it's connected with the curse of the De Vasconcelos, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I hope you will honor my desire not to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for now. You certainly know your history.
What's your opinion of the Templars, Senor Stobart?
The Templars? Well, they seem no worse than a lot of the knightly orders.
You are mistaken. Compared to the simpering politicians of the Hospitallers or the brutish Teutonics, the Knights Templar were the embodiment of chivalry. The filthy, money-grabbing French king and his pet pope did a great wrong. A bane settled upon my family at the whim of that self-seeking tyrant.
It was all a long time ago.
Some things don't die. Injustice is one of them.
You know what? I always remember that quote that is from this game. Some things don't die, injustice is one of them. I love that quote. I love that line from her.
Is there anything to investigate here?
No.
Okay. We can bring up the chessboard now?
Yep.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart, you cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it? I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary.
Is the
Am
missing
I to
piece in the
understand
candle?
that the Templars left a puzzle here? And in all of this time we failed
I'm
to
not gonna answer that one.
realize that there was a puzzle?
It was wonderful to watch the Countess change before my eyes.
Right. Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
All those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
How do you know that? You just met the woman.
Lopez! Lopez! Put that hose down and listen! Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes, the old chess set! Oh, damn the game! Now hurry! My, this is exciting, is it not?
Don't get too excited. This could be a blind alley.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
So, this character, the Countess, might become your other most favourite character in the game. I think she's probably one of mine, to be honest. I think she's a great character, really well developed.
Because she's really great. The British woman at the hotel is really great, and there's a certain young boy in Marib.
While we're waiting, I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything?
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos, is he the guy who went missing?
Si, but he had reckoned without the local bishop. The bishop envied our lands and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance. But witnesses had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of the world. He put on his armor and took up his sword and shield and rode out alone. He was never seen again.
Ooh, spooky.
Lopez, you have the pieces.
Si, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
Yes,
My lady.
Puzzle time.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
No.
Very well, my
No,
lady.
they're not.
My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
It fits, Senor Stobart. It fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into which holes.
So you have to checkmate. I think it's the king.
Are we
But I
are
never-
we red or white?
You're white. You just got that middle line. That's it.
Okay. Checkmate the king.
I think the king is that the one on the left?
This is the king. That's the king. 'Cause-
Okay.
I mean, if we didn't have a king, we wouldn't be able to play. So.
Yeah, yeah.
That is not a good idea.
Why?
You can only put it in the middle line.
What?
The middle line where all the white pieces are at, like down that middle.
Yeah.
You can only put it down that middle. You can't put them anywhere else. So you've only got that middle that middle column.
Wait.
Where you
So
can
is
change
it
things.
not? Is it not chess?
It is chess, but
Well, no. If the knight can only move that way, if it's so it doesn't follow the rules of chess.
well, you can checkmate the black king by putting it on the square above where the castle is.
No way. No.
Because then that checks the king. And then try moving the castle below where the king is. The
I
white
don't
king.
have a castle. It's a bishop.
Oh, that's a bishop. Oh,
No way.
I thought that one was a castle.
No.
So knights can move.
In an
My
L
mind's
shape. Bishops can move diagonally.
Put the knight on the next square up, the one below. never remember this bloody puzzle.
What's not a good idea? I'm trying to pick up the fucking piece, George.
Right, leave the bush where you just put it, and then put the knight on the one. Move the king all. Swap the king and the knight round. Oh, I never remember this bloody puzzle.
Especially because it won't let you pick up the piece you're trying to pick up.
I know, it's a bit fiddly. There we go.
Senor Stobart, look!
Oh, sure, we found the
What
Holy
is that?
Grail.
It's not the Holy Grail,
Of course it is in...
No, Senor Stobart. It is the communion chalice of the de Vasconcelos.
I'll admit to some
Missing
disappointment.
for almost 700 years.
Wow. Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobart.
Sure, I'm sure. The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
That will become a bit apparent later on.
Da-da-da-da. Now, when you told me about a chess puzzle, I got really excited. Because I figured I'd actually be playing chess.
The Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no. The Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice.
Well,
But
it
there's
is
still
a chess
the riddle
puzzle in a
of the
sense.
missing
Yeah,
knight.
I always know
Well, you
it's
can
a chess
forget
puzzle.
about that now
I mean, it
and get
involves
back to
chess
finding
pieces,
the
but it's
Templar
not
secret.
chess.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You what?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will. This is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
I still can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger? She's one prawn short of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady. You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that Countess.
Are you serious? She's old enough to be my grandmother. Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Right,
There's a woman looking at her, but the reflection. The night scroll bears through my teaching. That's the clue that led me to Spain. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem.
So, we're off to
Do you think I should go
Syria,
to
right?
Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
That's not a yes or a no. Well, from Nico, I mean.
Yes.
From Nico, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, strange woman, you want to see our chalice?
Oh, hi.
Hello, my handsome friend.
Maybe not.
Do you know that you remember the
See you later.
the guy
That's
from the
right,
first
monsieur.
video that you show the ID to of Spectre Rosso?
Yeah.
If you go back there now, you get a bit of a conversation with him, which is actually quite amusing.
Who?
Back at the cafe. There we are. See, the workman's gone now.
Yeah, I forgot about this guy.
Hi there, remember me?
Ah, mais oui, Inspector. Have you found him?
Who?
The man in the sewer, of course.
I'm, sifting through the evidence.
Rather you than me, monsieur. That reminds me, someone's been impersonating you.
Oh.
Came sniffing around just after you'd gone. Bold as brass. He tried to tell me he was a policeman. Inspector or so, he claimed. I didn't tell him I'd been talking to you, not hours before.
Thank goodness. Impersonating a police officer is a serious offense. A man with so little respect for the law must be desperate.
Yes, my father used to say, desperation opens the door to the devil. He was always coming out with things like that. Stupid man. So, when you are not exploring sewers, what do you do?
I take a lot of showers.
Oh, very good, monsieur. A policeman with a sense of humor.
What do you think of my juggling ball?
What do you think of my ball?
I am a little too old for games, monsieur.
Does the name Merlin or Gruber Electronics mean anything to you?
No, monsieur.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Yes, I do. It's that villain I told you about.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
I can't say I do, monsieur.
What does this powder mean to you?
Nothing, monsieur.
Maybe not. Shake my hand. Go on, shake it.
You're joking, aren't you? Nothing personal, but you've been mucking about down this sewer.
I have to be going.
Good luck, Inspector. I hope you catch that killer soon.
There's not really a killer. The killer's the good guy, somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all boarded up now.
Yep. You do come back here in the director's cut as Nico earlier in the game, whereas you got the workman's brother boarding up the cafe, who's just as obnoxious and annoying as he
We'll
is.
see all this in the future. Oh, it's not Moo today.
Moo's gone.
Hi there. Bonjour. Monsieur Hardy, no? Stobart. George Stobart. Where's Sergeant Moo? Sergeant Moo? You haven't heard? Heard what? Has something happened to him? Moo is dead. You're kidding. No, monsieur. That's... How? Why?
The death of a policeman never comes as a surprise, but always as a shock.
But Sergeant Moo? He was so...
I know. He was as flexible as a riot baton. Yet his heart was as warm as a freshly extracted urine sample.
Ugh. That's a...
Yuck.
What do you make of this?
It's a juggler's ball.
Sergeant Moo is dead. Oh, that's a shame. What do you think of this juggler's ball?
Are you familiar with the Club Alamut?
No, monsieur.
Do you know what this powder is?
It looks like plaster, monsieur.
That could have been unlucky.
I'd like to shake you by the hand.
Do you want to be arrested for assault?
Huh?
I noticed.
Do you know anything about medieval communion cups?
No, monsieur. I was a duffer at school when it came to history.
Thanks for your help, officer.
You can't call
I know, you
Rosso,
can't.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So this is where we're going to end it for now. I've been Merrick Tomato.
And I've been Classic Gamer.
And we'll see you next time for the continuing adventures of George Stobart. Ciao.
Yes, indeedy. Ciao.
Hi. Thanks for watching. This has been played, edited, and recorded by me, Merrick D'Amato.
And he's been helped by me, Classic Gamer.
You can find a link to Classic's YouTube channel, Classics Gamer, and his Twitch in the description below. Please like, comment, and subscribe.